On America's biggest day of celebration, the fireworks, they start early at Saratoga. The racing festival, it's begun. And to close out the stakes races on the 4th of July, we have the Suburban Stakes, a mile and a fourth on the dirt, 8 contenders. Who will break free and declare independence from the pack? See what I did there? Facts and figures, they're going to give you the winning edge. I give you the stats, you make the picks. Hi, it's Maura from Trifecta and a little bit extra, and it's 4th of July, and we are going racing at Saratoga. We're going to go through all the angles and all the contenders. But wait, before we get started, I did a really small contest for the Stephen Foster. Now, I apologize if you didn't see it. I did it way too late in the game. But basically I said, if you drop me your 2-horse exacta box and get it right, I'm going to shout you out on this video. So I got 2 people who got it right last week. Congratulations to Sauce Darzell and Mike LX8TP. You all got the 2-horse exacta box right for the Stephen Foster. And let me tell you, Mike and Sauce have been around for some time and dropping comments. And I love to see the comments. You know, I always comment back. So let's do it again. 2-horse exacta box. If you get it right, I'll shout you out on the next video. Drop them in the comments below by 6 p.m. Friday. And thank you, Mike, and thank you, Sauce, for being around, for always participating and commenting, and for all of you who've been with me and doing the same. Let's make this a real positive community for horse racing. Now, on to the Suburban Stakes. I got some angles for us to get started. Of course I have the angles. This is a mile and a quarter at Saratoga. Travers. Belmont at Saratoga. Remember this video? I went through some key angles. So we're going to use those angles today because same distance, same track. Let's do a quick review. First, you want to have tactical speed. You want to be like 2, 2.5, 3 lengths from the leader at the half pole. Second, you have to have some left in the tank at the end to get up and get that win. Third, really good jockeys at Saratoga. They know how to get horses around the track. So we're going to look at last summer's meet and say who is in the top 10. Fourth, Saratoga experience, especially positive Saratoga experience, is a plus. And also, you really want to have the distance experience. So let's look at each horse, horse by horse, go through their past performances and compare them to these angles. The number 1 horse is Phileas Fogg, trained by Gustavo Rodriguez. He'll be ridden by Kenny Carmouche, and Kenny Carmouche has been on him for the last 2 races. Now, this is a 5-year-old with a lot of experience, 17 starts, 8 wins. That means nearly half the time he is in the winner's circle and 4 places. Not only that, look at his last 6 starts. He's always been in the exacta. 4 wins and 2 places. I do want to point out though, this is a step up in class for him. Now he was in the G3 Pimlico Special in his last race and came in second. But those wins, they came either in allowance races or stakes races. And this is a G2 race. Let's talk about the Pimlico Special, a mile and 3/16 on the dirt. He got out of the gate really well, gets into second place. Going around the turn, he takes command. But then the 8 horse in this race, Awesome Aaron, he challenged him down the stretch and got the lead and the win by 3/4 of a length. But Phileas Fogg got a 99 buyer. The race prior to that was the Excelsior Stakes, a mile and a quarter at Aqueduct on the dirt. Now, he was really fast coming out of the gate, but then he settles into second. The pace, blazing hot, 22 and change. He is 8 lengths off the leader. 46 and change. Coming around the turn, he takes command and takes the lead away from Mama's Gold and wins by a whopping 5 lengths with a 98 buyer. In his other races, he goes right to the lead. In a $90,000 allowance race, he goes to the lead but cannot hold it, loses by a neck, and has an 88 buyer for this 1.125 race. Has another 1.125 race at Aqueduct, sloppy track, goes to the lead, wins by 8 lengths. 99 buyer. His buyers in the upper 90s do put him in contention with the other horses in the race. Now let's look at the angles. Has the tactical running style? Check. Has some drive at the end? Check. Has Saratoga experience? A win on a sloppy track going 1.125. And also has the distance experience. Now, Kenny Carmouche, he may not be in the top 10, but he's a very strong jockey at Saratoga and knows this horse. Oh, and let's look at his workouts. Tip-top shape, going 59 and change for 5 furlongs. Definitely a top contender in this race. The number 2 horse is Disarm. Trained by Steve Asmussen, he'll be ridden by Joel Rosario. This is a 5-year-old, 16 starts, 4 wins, 3 places and 3 shows, and that means 10 out of the 16 times this horse is on the board. This is a really classy horse. Of the 16 starts, 11 are graded stakes, including the 2023 Kentucky Derby, where he came in 4th, the 2023 Travers. This track, this distance, he comes in 2nd to Arcangelo on a muddy track, only loses by a length. Then last year, again, this track, the Whitney, 1.125, comes in 4th. Then also here at Saratoga, the G1 Jockey Club, and in that race, he came in 3rd. All in all, he's had 5 starts here at Saratoga with a win, a place, and a show. Now let's look at his prior races. In March, he was in a $131,000 allowance stakes race going 1.16 miles. There he was starting from an outside post. He gets up to 3rd. The pace was not swift, 24 and change, 48 and change. He gets and makes his move at the top of the lane. Now, Bendoog in this race, he made a charge at him, but Disarm won, and he got a 96 buyer. Then he goes to the Oaklawn Handicap, and there just really wasn't the Disarm that we know. He really showed no interest in that race. Now, he did get a 96 buyer, but he finished 4th, 8 lengths behind. The Disarm we're seeing in 2025 really doesn't compare to the Disarm we saw in 2023. Between the Derby and the Travers, he was clicking off triple-digit buyers each time, and now they're in the mid-90s. Does that mean he's out of this race? Absolutely not. Just means he's not standing out. What he has going for him, he is all class and all that Saratoga experience, and sometimes that's all you need at this track. Now let's look at how he compares to the angles. In terms of the angles, we know he's got that awesome rally at the end. We know he's got really good Saratoga experience and experience at this distance, and Joel Rosario is a top jockey at Saratoga. But what gives me pause is his running style. He tends to be further back than I'd like to see, between 3 and 4 lengths. But let's look at his past Saratoga races and see where was he at the half pole to the leader and how well did he do. In the 2023 Jim Dandy, he was 3 lengths off the leader at the half pole and came in 4th. Then in the 2023 Travers, 4 lengths off the leader and came in 2nd. Then in the Whitney 2024, he was 10 1/4 lengths off the leader, came in 4th. Then in the Jockey Club, he was 7 lengths off the leader and came in 3rd. So, being that far back from the leader is going to give me pause on Disarm. If you're finding this information useful, hit like and hit subscribe. I am back Don't miss out on my horse racing coverage. We're doing one race a week at Saratoga. The number 3 horse is Siro. He's trained by Brendan Walsh and will be ridden by Luis Saez. Now this is a 4-year-old, and 4-year-olds can have upside. He has 12 starts with 3 wins, 1 place, and 2 shows. Have to go back to February at the fairgrounds. Now that was a $60,000 allowance race. And remember, this is a graded stakes race. In that race, he stalks, he makes a bid, he wins by 4 lengths and earns a 97 buyer. He did enter 3 graded stakes races after that allowance race, but he can only manage 2 4th place finishes and a 2nd. He goes to the G2 New Orleans Classic, a mile and an eighth, and in that race, he got 4th. Next up is the G3 Ben Ally, a mile and 3/16 at Keeneland. Now he's stalking in 3rd position on the inside. He comes off the rail. He's in between horses. He dives back to the inside and he gets 2nd, but with an 88 buyer. The last time we saw him was in the G3 Pimlico Special. He was up against the number 1 horse, Phileas Fogg, in this race, and also the number 8 horse, Awesome Aaron. Now, he just came up empty and finished 4th with a 90 buyer. How does he do versus the angles? He's got the stalking style we like. He has a top jockey and the distance experience, but no Saratoga experience and doesn't look like he has a lot left in the tank. This horse is not going to be top on my list in terms of who I like for this race. The number 4 horse is Locked. Trained by Todd Pletcher, he'll be ridden by Jose Ortiz, and together they have a 27% win rate. This horse, super talented. He's a 4-year-old, and remember, 4-year-olds have upside. 9 starts, 5 wins. That means almost half the time he's in the winner circle. 1 place and 2 shows. 8 of the 9 times, always on the board. And 6 of those 9 starts, graded stakes races. And of those 6, 3 are wins. And he's only been off the board once. Super classy, super talented. He started his career here at Saratoga as a 2-year-old. And that's a signal that he was thought of very highly. He broke his maiden here in a mile race, and not only did he win that race, he commanded that race. He won by 7 lengths. Wow! Then he goes to Keeneland for the Breeders' Futurity, a mile and a 16th, and he wins that race. Then he goes to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, a race every horse that's a 2-year-old wants to win. And he comes in a respectable 3rd. We only got to see him twice as a 3-year-old. In October, he was in a 7-furlong allowance race and wins by another whopping 7 lengths. Then goes to the Cigar Mile and boom, another win by a length and a half. As a 4-year-old, we're seeing him try out the longer distances again. In January, he was in the Pegasus World Cup at Gulfstream, a mile and an eighth. And in that race, he was the 9-5 favorite. He's starting from post position 11, so far outside. Unfortunately, he misses the break. He starts a step slow. He's way behind. Now he comes with a charge at the end and was able to finish 2nd, but White Abario, he was 6 lengths ahead of him. But Locked got a 100 buyer. Next stop is the Santa Anita Handicap, and this is his breakout race. This distance at Santa Anita. Now he was the 3-5 favorite that day. He comes out of the gate and he's patient. He's like 5th or 6th in the back in an 8-horse field. Coming around that turn, he made a huge move and throws down the win. Wins by 8.5 lengths and a 109 buyer, which is top in this field. The next time we saw him was Kentucky Derby week, Kentucky Oaks Day in the Alley Sheba, going a mile and a 16th at Churchill Downs. Now that day, just not his day. He came in 4th, and I would say just strike a line through that race. not the locked we're used to seeing. Let's look at him versus the angles. Does he have the kick? Absolutely. Does he have the Saratoga experience? Well, yeah, that huge win here. He has the distance experience. Look at what he just did in the Santa Anita Handicap. And Jose Ortiz is a top jockey here at Saratoga. The one angle I don't like is the fact he tends to be 3.5 to 5.5 lengths from the leader at the half pole. It's not the running style I like to see, but given the class, the speed, the Saratoga win, the fact he's a 4-year-old with a lot of upside, me personally, I think top contender. The number 5 horse is Bendoog. He's trained by Bill Mott and will be ridden by Jose Lexcano. Now this is a very experienced horse, a 6-year-old with 20 starts, 5 wins, 8 places, and 3 shows. And if you look at his last 5 starts, he's been always in the exacta, 4 places and 1 win. Now, prior to 2023, he was racing in Maidan with another trainer. And in 2023, he transfers to Bill Mott. Now in 2024, we saw him participate in 4 allowance races. And in those races, he got 2 wins and 2 places. They were all at the longer distances and his buyers were between 97 and 99. He also participated in 2 graded stakes races, one being this race, the Suburban Stakes. Well, how did he do? In a field of 8, he's starting in post position 8. Now he gets bumped at the start, but he hustles up. He's stalking in 4th. Around the turn, he does take charge, but then all of a sudden, it's anybody's game. He dives to the inside. He tries to hold the lead, but he comes in 2nd behind Krupe with a 92 buyer. Fast forward to his 2025 season. After 140 days of rest, he shows up in a $131,000 allowance race at Oaklawn going 1 16 miles. Here, he runs into Disarm. Now, he tries to take Disarm, but he loses by a neck, and he comes in 2nd with a 95 buyer. 2 weeks later, he shows up in the American Pharoah Overnight Stakes at Oaklawn, and in that race, it was a paceless race. Now, he tried to make a dramatic bid, but loses again by a neck and earns a 96 buyer. The last time we saw him was at Aqueduct in May in a 1 1/8 race, a $92,000 allowance race. Again, he was in the back of the pack, but he makes a charge and takes the lead and wins with a 96 buyer. So how does he do with our angles? Well, 1, late speed, check. Distance, Saratoga? Absolutely, check, check. He was in the Suburban last year. Jose Lexcano, not in the top 10 of Saratoga jockeys at last year's meet, but very good jockey at Saratoga. Running style, he's mixed. Sometimes he's in the lead, sometimes he's 4 lengths back. And in the last 3 races, he's been further back than I like to see. Now, if he gets closer to the leader, the fact that he's been in the exacta in the last 5 races and has this experience, me personally, I would consider him to be on the board. Now, hey, don't forget, we're going to be running this contest. Drop your 2-horse exacta box in the comments by Friday by 6 p.m. And if you get it right, I will shout you out on the next video. Good luck, everyone. The number 6 horse is Anna Marie. Trained by Whit Beckman, he'll be ridden by Ben Curtis. Another 4-year-old, which means he can have upside. 10 starts, 3 wins, 2 places. And of those 10 starts, 6 were in graded stakes races. As a 2- and 3-year-old, Anna Marie was on the road to the Kentucky Derby. In the Kentucky Jockey Club, he gets the win. Then goes to the Louisiana Derby, comes in 2nd. Now, going into the Kentucky Derby, he really was the buzz horse leading up to it. As expected in any Kentucky Derby, this horse gets jostled, he gets bumped, he gets steadied, and unfortunately finished 8th. Then he goes to the Belmont at Saratoga. Now, in most of that race, he was way, way, way in the back, 10th. But he did have a rally at the end and finished 4th with a 94 buyer. He was not done with Saratoga. He goes into the Travers, this distance. And in that race, as always, Anna Marie is way in the back. But he didn't really have a rally, and he finished 8th with a 66 buyer. Moving on to his 4-year-old season, he enters the American Pharoah Overnight Stakes at Oaklawn going a mile and a 16th. Here he meets up with Bendoog. Again, not much of a rally, and finishes 7th with a 74 buyer. The last time we saw him was in May in the Isaac Murphy Marathon Stakes, a mile and a half at Churchill Downs. Now, as always, he was in the back. He was on the inside. He splits his foes. He gets challenged, but he wins by a head with a 92 buyer. So how does he do versus the angles? Well, his running style is not really what I prefer for this race. He's way too far in the back. He does have a rally, so he does have late speed, but he really needs that pace setup to see it. In terms of Saratoga experience, he's got it, but the best he could do was 4th. He has the distance experience. In terms of jockey, Ben Curtis, not really a top jockey at Saratoga. I think Anna Marie is a very talented horse. I like Anna Marie. I've actually won on Anna Marie before in the past. But me personally, this is not a horse that I will be preferring in this race. The number 7 horse is Antiquarian, another Todd Pletcher runner who'll be ridden by Johnny Velasquez, and together they have a 25% win rate. Now this horse is a 4-year-old, and that means upside. 7 starts, 3 wins, and 2 places. And of the 7 starts, 4 were graded stakes, where he's got a win and a place. In his 3-year-old season, he was in the Peter Pan, a mile and an 8th at Aqueduct. And in that race, he broke really well. Now he is very patient stalking the race. He gets into a duel with the wine steward going down the stretch. And boy, did he show his talent that day. He gets the win by 3/4 of a length and earns a 92 buyer. And oh, who else did he beat? Deterministic, who just won the Manhattan States on Belmont weekend this past year. Next stop is here, Saratoga, for Belmont. And in that race, he breaks really well. And now he is in the lead pack. But unfortunately, he weakens and finishes 5th with a 91 buyer. Then he's off for 315 days. He begins his 4-year-old season at Gulfstream, $57,000 allowance race going 7 furlongs. And in that race, right to the lead, wins by 2.5 lengths, earning a 93 buyer. Then at the end of May, we see him in the G3 Blame at Churchill Downs going a mile and an 8th. And in that race, he went and got to the lead. He gets past, and this is what I like. He fights back. He fights back to get to 2nd place behind Mystic Dan with a 97 buyer. This horse has heart. Now, there are a couple things that I really like about this horse. If you look at the angles, he has the right stalking style. He's got the rally at the end. He's got the Saratoga experience. Didn't do so well, came in 5th at the Belmont, but he's got the experience and he's got the distance. And Johnny V may not be in the top 10, but a very good jockey at Saratoga. This is a very interesting horse. 97 buyer puts him in the mix, and if you look at his workouts, very strong workouts at Saratoga. And remember, he's a 4-year-old. Upside. And finally, we have the number 8 horse, Awesome Aaron. Trained by Norm Cassie, he'll be ridden by Irad Ortiz Jr. And you better take note when you see Irad on board a horse at Saratoga. Very experienced horse, 6-year-old, 34 starts, 6 wins, 3 places, 6 shows. Now, out of the 34 starts, not a very classy horse. Only 2 graded stakes races, the G3 Pimlico Stakes, which he just won, and the Vanderbilt, which he came in 6th. And that was back in 2023. In April, we saw him in a $131,000 allowance race at Oakland Park going 1 mile and 1/16. In that race, he breaks alertly. He gets to the lead. Now around the turn, he had to battle. He had to battle the whole way with Record Point. He clears Record Point, and oh my, does he get the win by over 5 lengths. And guess what? His first triple-digit buyer as a 6-year-old, 104. Then in May, in the G3 Pimlico Special, he patiently stalked the number 1 horse in this race, Phileas Fogg. And around the turn, he came driving, took the lead, and wins with a 100 buyer. Another triple-digit buyer. Now let's look at him versus the Angles. Does he have the right running style? Absolutely. Does he have kick and drive at the end? Yes. Does he have Saratoga experience? He's got the G1 Vanderbilt in 2023, but he came in 6th. Does he have this distance or longer? No. That's the one thing we don't see. He doesn't have the distance. And finally, does he have a top jockey? Absolutely. So with the wind in his sails and the jockey that he has, I would take a look at him. But I'm a little bit of a pause here with the distance and the fact his Saratoga experience was so-so. It's your turn. Drop me a comment below, and not just any comment. Tell me, who is your 2-horse box exacta? If you get it right, I will shout you out on the next video. Drop that comment by 6 p.m. on Friday. Drop any comment. You know I like them. Also, make sure you're hitting like and hitting subscribe. I'm back. It is a Saratoga summer. We are doing 1 race a week for Saratoga. We're going to make sure we sashay away with our money. Until next time, and happy 4th of July. Cheers.